This is our fourth film, right? No, film number 4?
Is it film number 4?
I believe
I think
so.
it is, yes.
Yes. Haunted Gold.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, starring John Wayne and his miracle horse,
Yeah.
Duke.
We've been looking forward to this one.
Me in particular.
Yeah.
I have been on pins and needles waiting for this movie.
Yeah.
And my God, am I satisfied by this movie?
Absolutely. It did not disappoint.
Let's open with some general information.
Yeah.
Right, Micah?
So this film is directed by Mac V. Wright, and in our last film we watched, the director was Tenny Wright. So
Yeah.
that irked a thought in our brains, like, are these two related?
Are they brothers?
They surely have to be.
There's no way they're not in my mind.
Right.
But here's the thing, there's zero trace of information
Nothing.
at all talking about these men or their families
Mm-hmm.
that we could find. So this is a complete mystery to us. I
Yeah.
believe they are in fact the Wright brothers.
They
These two,
half brothers or not, they
They're-
gotta be brothers.
dude, the Wright brothers never steer us wrong, right?
Absolutely.
These are the guys. God bless them.
Yeah. And, do we want to mention the Maltese Falcon?
Yeah, let's mention the Maltese
Let's
Falcon.
get
off
out the way. Yeah, that just shows up.
It's, if you've never seen the film, the 1931 classic Hollywood picture, The Maltese Falcon, for some unknown reason, the actual Maltese Falcon just shows up in this movie a
Yeah.
couple times as like a little Easter egg.
Yeah.
One time taking up half the screen.
Yeah.
So there's a little Easter egg for you.
Yeah, that
was
was a
pretty
strange
good.
one. And we had a cast return. So this was a remake. What was the remake called again? Or the original film? Was it The Phantom City?
Yes.
Was The Phantom City?
I believe it was called The Phantom City. Yes.
Yep, The Phantom City. And one of the characters in that film was Blue Washington, the only African American character in this film,
Yes, playing Clarence.
playing Clarence, who was my favorite character.
Mine too.
He's great.
He's awesome. He's great. Yeah, I think we just get into the movie now because I'm really excited to talk about it.
Do we want to talk about the trailer real quick?
Oh.
The trailer. Come on.
God bless that trailer. You're right, Micah. Forgive my excitement. The trailer is a masterpiece once again.
Yeah.
It's spooky music.
Mm.
Cartoon bats are flying at you through
Yeah.
the screen, and it's spooks in bold white text. Ghosts and a mine full of gold.
Yeah, this, just like the last film we did, A Big Stampede, where the where the trailer did not disappoint. I mean, just two great trailers, but with A Big Stampede, we were let down a bit.
We were let down by the film.
Yeah.
Here, I do believe it captures everything there.
Absolutely.
In A Big Stampede, it said, "Whoopee, look at him go."
And directly referring to Duke, who does nothing.
Exactly. I didn't feel the whoopee. I didn't
Right.
feel the look at him go. In
Right.
this, you get the spooks,
You do
you get the ghosts, and you get a mine full of gold.
all three of them.
It's everything I wanted and more.
Absolutely.
Watch again. If you're not gonna watch the movie, watch the trailer, and I promise you, you will then want to watch this movie.
Absolutely.
You know what? Let's jump into
Let's jump
this.
in it. Let's
The
go.
movie opens.
Mhm.
It's quiet, dark, spooky forest. A coyote howls in the distance. Ooh, you get a chill running up your spine. It's that October feeling, right?
Mhm.
We cut in. There's a shady poker game being played with Joe Ryan, the villain of the film.
Yep.
And while they're playing poker, talking about this mine that they have an interest in,
Mhm.
a painting moved, and we can see two eyes gazing from behind the painting. Spooky. Who
No
are
idea.
who
No
are the-
idea how the painting moves at all.
Oh yeah, the painting just moves magically.
It just moves.
There's no way the eyeball guy could move it.
Absolutely not.
But
But it does.
immediately, I'm caught up in the movie. I'm
Right.
sucked in. Who are these guys?
Mhm.
What's going on with this mine? Why is there a Scooby-Doo pair of eyes gazing behind a painting?
Yeah.
We cut away from the poker game and we see John Wayne riding alone through a dark forest.
Guess what he's tuning on?
He's playing his mouth organ again.
This was the third straight film where he's
Time in a row.
Yeah, because I don't believe he was tuning on any mouth organ in the Big Trail.
No, he did.
He did?
He did when they stopped the wagon train. He
You're
does
right.
it for one scene. This is 4 movies in a row. John Wayne has played the harmonica.
This is incredible.
This adds evidence to our theory
Mhm.
that he can actually play the harmonica.
We still have to Google that to make sure.
I kind of
Yeah.
want to just keep watching to see how many
Yeah,
times it comes
yeah.
up. Because 4 in a row is a lot if you're
Yeah.
pretending to play it.
Right. So,
But again, he's just called John in this movie.
yeah, once again,
So we don't need to worry about his last name.
it's not important.
And here we get introduced while John's writing. We get to see there's a man following him, black man named Clarence.
Yep. Great pal, Clarence.
Clarence is John's right-hand man, basically, helps him on the ranch.
Yep.
He's great. He is the comic relief character,
Absolutely.
and there are some problems with how he is characterized.
Yep, there is.
They play him as a buffoon,
Yeah.
and that's very obvious why they do
And-
that,
Yeah.
and it's incredibly uncomfortable.
Yeah. And in one of the very first lines, Clarence says, in one of his very first lines, he calls John Master, which is
He does.
that
He,
is-
he does
yeah.
refer to all the white people in the film as boss or master
Yeah.
or sir,
Yeah.
and that's obviously not good. That's obviously uncomfortable. That is bad. I
Right.
don't like that part of his character. What I do like is the actor,
Mm-hmm.
Blue Washington, because dear God, does he have charisma?
He does.
He just the way he emotes with his face, how he delivers lines, he puts such an honesty and reality to everything he says that I just like him.
All of that except for one line, which we'll get to at the way end at our one of our very last segments.
Every
Hang
li-
tight. Hang tight.
just
I beg of you.
please, you will love everything this man says throughout the movie. He's great. Clearly he was written as a racist stereotype, but I really believe the actor elevated it beyond that
Yeah.
and became a shining light in this movie. So we've got Clarence introduced, and the two of them are riding down the trail when
Mhm.
suddenly a horse with no rider appears with a note attached to it saying, "Beware of this mine. Do not enter this mine. Mark the vanishing of this rider as a warning," is basically what it says, because the rider was taken and the letter was signed by the Phantom. Ooh. The Phantom can write. It's a literate ghost. And those are the scariest I've heard. An illiterate ghost, alright, fine, maybe we can dupe him, but this is a smart ghost
Right.
that knows how to write. So this happens, and then John and Clarence put the note back on the horse and let it keep riding, where it returns to Joe Ryan and his posse, who leave the place where they were playing poker. And while they're getting up to leave, you see a spooky fucking shadow of a man with a giant hand creeping along the wall. And this scares all of that, all of Joe
one guy in
Ryan's gang.
particular, he lets out the most horrific yelp I have ever heard in a film.
It's such a blood-curdling scream, and it scared me. I was like, whoa, maybe the shadow is something to be worried about.
Right.
The spooky, spooky shadow.
Mhm.
And so they rush outside because they're so afraid of this little spooky shadow.
Right.
Where they find the horse and they find the message, and they realize their friend Eli has gone missing. Mystery, another mystery. They keep stacking these
Right.
little intricate plots one on top of the other, and as a viewer I'm like, all right, I've got questions. I want to figure out what's happening here. It's wonderful. While Joe Ryan and his gang are outside, two ghoulish men appear. They're thin, they're old, they're so skeletal.
Yeah.
They're so spooky, these spooky fucking old guys. They appear out of the fog, and they're walking stone-faced, no emotion. This is Tom Benedict and his mute friend.
Yep.
We are told he is deaf and dumb.
Right.
So Tom Benedict shows up and is conversing with Joe Ryan, where we find out Joe Ryan has a deed to half of the mine and therefore half of the gold within the mine. This is the one the Phantom doesn't want anyone in.
Mm-hmm.
Where mysteriously we see Tom Benedict make a remark about how, well, I know how you got the deed to that mine. Right? So we understand it's nefarious.
Mm-hmm.
Another mystery. How did he get the deed to the mine? Another feather in this bouquet of torment and horror. So obviously Joe Ryan, being a villain, starts jostling. Is he strangling Tom Benedict, this poor old man? He's getting physical with him.
Yeah, he is.
Where whoosh, John swoops in to save him.
Yeah.
And he intervenes. He keeps Joe Ryan from beating up this poor helpless old man.
Mm-hmm.
And then Joe Ryan's like, him and his posse leave. And then John's like, well, I want to stay the night. Can I stay? Do you know where I can stay in this town, Tom Benedict? He's like, oh, sure. Come to this giant mansion that I have. It's wonderful. We don't have many visitors, but you can stay here. This is where we learn John Wayne, his father, is the one who is one of two partners who discovered the mine. And therefore, John has inherited half of the gold in the mine as well.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. What happened to his father's partner, though?
Right.
Bang!
Bang.
Another mystery. We are 7 minutes into this movie, and we have like 7 different mysteries.
Right.
It's unrelenting. There's so much intrigue. And this is, of course, where we're introduced to the love interest of the film, the other protagonist, I'd say co-star more than love interest.
Yeah.
Miss Carter, Jackie Carter.
Jackie Carter.
Where we learn about her character, her father a bit. We learn that her father, I believe this is where we learn about her father, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Her father, Mr. Carter, was John Wayne's father's partner.
Yeah.
And those are the two that discovered the mine.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, Jackie doesn't have right to half of the mine.
Right.
She didn't even know she was supposed to inherit it. Because it's Tom Benedict that tells her that. Now, during this whole thing, Tom starts acting real fucking spooky. He's creeping around.
Yeah.
He's like staring at them weirdly.
Yeah.
He's just grabbing books. Odd.
Yeah.
Like Nosferatu. Like he's... I don't know how to describe the way you like whip your hand on your... How do I describe this? It's a very visual thing I'm trying to put to place. But it's like you roll your wrist and
Right.
wiggle your fingers. And that's how he grabs a book.
Yeah, yeah.
It's real, like, vampiric and
Mm.
spooky how he does it. This is where we start wondering, who is this Tom guy? It's really weird. We don't actually know much about him.
No.
And then we get one of the greatest background performances I have ever seen in my entire life. So we've got John and Miss Carter sitting on the couch
Mm.
talking about why they're here, because they were both sent mysterious messages saying to come to the mine, and they don't know who sent them. Another mystery, baby. What's going on here? And a creepy, creepy woman appears behind them
With tea.
with tea, and she's slowly pouring them tea, and they don't know she's there. And she has this unnerving face. She looks pure evil.
Yeah.
Pure evil. This is the only time you see her in the movie, and she just slowly hands them these saucers of tea.
She doesn't say a word, but goddamn.
Dude, once they find out, then once they hear the tea clattering,
Yeah.
it's pure silence
Yeah.
for what feels like an eternity.
Mhm.
She is so unsettling as a character. And I'm gonna call out the specific actress, Martha Maddox. That is incredible. She does such a good job as being this weird, creepy, like,
Yeah.
maid, I suppose.
We're looking at her profile picture here on IMDb. She looks haunting.
Dude,
Look at that.
she unnerves me now.
Yeah.
Like, she's gazing into my soul. It's like she knows something about me
Right.
that I've only now just become aware of in my own fear and terror. It's like there's something darker there, something eldritch, and I don't like it. She's gazing into my naked soul.
Right. Yeah.
This is the feeling she emotes in, I want to say, her 75 seconds of being on screen.
Not even.
She,
If even.
she has a lasting impact.
She does.
Now, we cut to outside of the mansion, where we get one of Clarence's first scenes,
Yep.
where Clarence has an obsession with luck, Lady Luck.
Yeah.
So he's asking Lady Luck for advice, and so he decides to shoot dice.
Yeah.
So he rolls 2 dice, and he rolls a 6 and a 1. So, Michael, what does he say?
Oh, what was the 6th one?
Lucky 7 straight from
That's
heaven.
Lucky. That's right.
Lucky 7 straight from heaven. That is the first of one of many beautiful insights into who Carter is
I
as a
can't believe I
man.
didn't write that down. Oh my god.
Dude, it's beautiful. And then he decides to go into this barn where, one after the other, he walks in and a cobweb enters his mouth,
Yeah.
terrifying him. A rat runs on his foot, and he sees a cat, and this drives him crazy. He freaks out so hard. He sprints at 1,000,000,000 miles an hour. He's so fast.
It's ridiculous.
They sped him up so much while he's running into the mansion. He's running like Mach 5. He's so fast. He runs inside and he's talking to John about how afraid he is. John's like, "Oh, that's nothing." Instantly, intrigue. A black figure, whoosh, runs up the stairs. Runs up
Yeah.
the stairs, scaring Jackie Carter.
And she's like, "What is that?"
She yelps out, "Ah!" And John's like, "What? What is it?" She's like, "A black figure just ran up the stairs." And I'm so disappointed this didn't happen. I was personally hoping
Yeah.
for John Wayne to turn around and say, "Carter, what or Clarence, what are you doing?" That doesn't happen. That joke isn't made. I thought it would have been funny. It's not. Instead, they lean into the mystery and intrigue of it. Fair enough. It's not a comedy.
Yep.
John rushes upstairs to find whoever this spook or phantom is, to where we see Tom Benedict in a black robe, and he says,
Yeah.
I've been in bed, but I'll tell you, no one has been up here but me.
Mm-hmm.
And John looks down, and Tom is wearing giant boots.
Yeah.
If he had been in bed, why is he wearing the boots?
Maybe just like sleeping with boots on, bro.
Maybe, but since we don't know, that's another mystery heaped on by the lunch lady of this movie's plot.
Right?
And it's all mystery, baby. That's all you're getting. Fantastic scene. So then John's like, okay, this is weird. And he decides to leave with Clarence. The two stand outside, and then all of the lights in the mansion go out at the exact same time, freaking the two of them out.
Right.
John then sees a light up on a hill, and he thinks, I'll go investigate what that is. Clarence, you stay here. I'm going to go see that. So John rides up, and he finds it's the deaf and dumb guy by this old mill.
Yep.
And Ryan and his gang have decided to pursue John because they want to know what this guy is up to. So up on top of this hill by the mill hill, we'll call it, we've got John, the deaf and dumb guy, and Ryan's gang, all converging on the spot. There's a back and forth between them. Nothing important's really said. This is just the first confrontation, really. John decides to run away, and Ryan and his posse pursue, weaving through the trees. It's this dusky night. It's very atmospheric. And then John ducks through a shed, and while he's going through the shed, he loops his lasso around a post, so that when Ryan and his gang ride in, he pulls the lasso and drops the entire shed down onto them. The whole thing, trapping them in rubble.
Yeah.
Then it hard cuts to daytime. And the Ryan gang are fine. They got out.
Yeah. Just like that.
But in the morning, Tom Benedict is speaking with Jackie Carter about her father. This is where Jackie learns that her father was, how do I say? He was tried for the wrong crime. He was, what's that term?
He was framed.
He was framed.
Yes.
He was framed for a crime he didn't commit. And that is how Ryan's father screwed over Jackie's father to get the deed to the mine. That is how Ryan has come to possess this deed. That is the first mystery of the movie solved.
Yeah. First of many.
The first of many. Everything gets answered, and I love that.
Yeah.
God bless this movie. Right? So that happens, and then Carter, we see her, and she says she wants to confront Ryan, Joe Ryan. So she rides off, finds him. Now this was interesting because this confuses at first.
It did.
But what she was doing is she was playing the helpless maid, pretending that her horse had gotten away from her in front of Mr. Ryan, so that Ryan would save her, and then she would earn his trust, so that she could kind of like play off of him to try and get an answer as to why she doesn't have her inheritance and to try and get it back.
Yeah.
Really smart plan until John Wayne ruins it by saving her and cutting off Ryan.
Right.
And she tells him this. She's like, you big oaf.
Right.
It was going so swimmingly till you ruined it. Which is great. We have an intelligent female character.
Yeah. Yeah. Unlike the last film.
So far removed from the last film.
Yeah.
Thank God. We needed something
Yeah.
to cling on to.
Yeah.
And that's really what we needed.
The only other film we've watched so far was Ryan Cowboy with a female character with a plan at least.
She didn't even do anything in Riding Cowboy.
Well, she stormed that trial.
True.
She stormed the trial.
She did something at the end
Yeah.
in Riding Cowboy.
She at least had some plan. She
Yes,
wasn't. She didn't.
True. And she tricked those guys.
Exactly. Yeah.
Unlike a big stampede where she does literally nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Yeah.
Here we have again another acting character, and it is just wonderful to see.
Yeah.
John, deciding that, ooh, maybe I should be clever too,
Right.
comes up with a plan to prove that Mr. Ryan is evil and a crook. Because he hasn't committed any actual crimes yet.
Right.
So he says to Clarence, ride back to the ranch and get $1,000, which is equivalent to about $33,000 to $36,000 today, and bring it back to me. Clarence is like, that's an unbelievable amount of money.
Right.
Why do you need this much money? I was like, don't worry about it, buddy. You go get it for me. Which is kind of fucked up that he doesn't tell him, hey, you're going to get robbed, Clarence.
Yeah.
I'm using you and your life. I'm putting it all at risk.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to tell you, buddy. See you later. Sends him on his way. Clarence goes, gets the money. On his way back,
Gets robbed.
big surprise. He gets robbed by Ryan and the gang.
Yeah.
Take the money from him. Go back to their saloon, where John is waiting for them to say, I got you. I caught you with my money you stole from Clarence. You better sign your deed back to Jackie Carter, or I am gonna use this evidence against you as a criminal.
Yeah.
To send you to prison. He's got them.
Yeah.
So while he's going to sign the deed, he signs it, hands it to John. John holds it up triumphantly. And then a spooky shadow begins to creep along the wall.
This whole time, Clarence is just watching, and the words are stuck in his throat.
He's so scared.
He's sweating profusely, too.
Clarence
it's incredible.
is absolutely terrified as this phantom creeps through the bar and then yoinks the deed and runs away. While John's confused, he is captured by the gang and tied up, as well as Clarence also gets captured.
Right.
Now, they discover a hole in the saloon floor that leads into the mine. So Ryan says, hey, Clarence, you and I are going to go investigate this mine while my boys watch John here and make sure he doesn't escape.
Yeah.
So now we have a back and forth where it's cutting between two scenes where we see John wiggling in his chair and Clarence creeping through the mine.
Yeah.
As Clarence creeps through the mine, weaving, he's obviously terrified.
Yeah.
Nothing big happens. It's just spooky, eerie. John is slowly undoing the ropes around him. The second he gets one arm free, though, these are smart criminals. They immediately tie him up again, and tighter this time.
Yeah.
John cannot escape on his own. That's interesting.
He's a hero.
He needs a hero. John needs to be saved in this movie, and I appreciate that so much. While Clarence is creeping through the mine, they start to hear an organ in the distance. A creepy organ starts playing. And again, it unnerved me watching the movie. It's really corny. But still, I'm like, it's kind of like, what's going to happen?
Right.
Like, what's going on? It turns out there's another secret entrance into the house, the mansion.
Yeah.
Where Mr. Ryan sneaks up there. And they find a door shaped like a coffin.
Yeah.
And they push that to the side. And they find Jackie Carter is the one playing this organ.
With the Maltese Falcon.
The Maltese Falcon take up half of the frame, which is really, really distracting. But bravo, if I had the Maltese Falcon, I would probably want to show it off as well.
Right. So, that's justifiable.
It's justifiable, I get it.
Yeah.
A year after the movie came out, because this is 32.
Yeah.
Fair play, Mr. Wright. I would brag too. So, the criminals have now kidnapped Jackie Ryan. Not Jackie Ryan. Sorry. Jackie Carter.
Yeah.
Ryan kidnapped Jackie Carter. And while they're there, they also take Tom Benedict. So now all of the heroes, except for Clarence, have been imprisoned. Clarence, in the meanwhile, has run away through the mine. And he enters a secret chamber where the Phantom is. This figure in a large black cloak. Clarence is freaked out and is like tumbling and spinning around, and he accidentally puts on a giant black robe while he's running through the mine. Eventually, he escapes the mine through the entrance, the main entrance, dressed in a giant black cloak. And then, Micah, what does he do?
Lady Luck persuades him to become the Phantom.
The
It's
Phantom
incredible.
himself. What does he do with his...
And then he
disguise?
just stumbles in and scares the guys that are
He
holding
stumbles into where? He sneaks into the saloon
Yeah.
with his cowl on.
Mhm.
He goes, ooh!
And all the guys guarding John just run away.
They fucking sprint away.
They're so scared.
They're so scared. I would be too. He cuts a frightening
He
image.
does. It's incredible.
John was saved by Clarence.
Yeah.
God bless him.
Love Clarence.
We love him. He's such a charming character. John is saved, and then once he is saved, here we go. Let me check my notes here. Yes. Yep. All right. Clarence, as the Phantom, ends up with Ryan, because him and John are trying to free everyone else.
Right.
Does not go to plan. Well, Clarence goes in first, tries to spook him, doesn't work. This is where we find the real Phantom,
Yeah.
because the real Phantom enters as well.
Mm-hmm.
It turns out to be none other than Bill Carter.
Jackie's father.
Jackie's father is the Phantom. He's been here the whole time.
He's been
That's
peeking
where
through the clock, the painting.
Yep, he was the eyes. The kidnapped guy from the beginning is there, tied up.
Yep.
So we now instantly have an answer to what the eyes were, where the missing guy came from, who the Phantom is, and who wrote the messages, and why they're there.
Right.
It all gets answered instantly, and it's such a great moment
Really.
where everything collapses in on itself. And it's fantastic. This is spectacular. While this is happening, John, not there, not present. Clarence flees again. So neither of them are there. Neither of them are in the mine. Clarence is running away.
Yep.
John learns about Bill Carter from Clarence. He learns about all of the stuff that's happening. So he decides, I have to get into the mine. I'll take this mine cart. So he runs off, and there's this hanging mine cart suspended over a cliff on a rope.
Great scene.
And it's a beautiful action scene where two members of Ryan's gang show up. This is where Duke gets to shine finally. We haven't mentioned him because he's only really been in the background.
Yeah.
He really takes a starry moment here where John gets into the minecart with another member of the gang, and they're swung out into the middle of the canyon,
Mm-hmm.
and Duke is left to fight this other guy.
Yeah.
While John's bang, pow, punching the shit out of this guy on the minecart, Duke is like...
He's mauling this guy.
He's mauling him, yeah. Pushing him closer and closer to the cliff.
Yeah.
And then he, like, literally pushes him off of a cliff to his death.
Yeah.
Duke fucking kills a man.
Absolutely, yeah.
In the coldest of blood. In the same way, John, suspended in the middle of this canyon, the floor of this minecart breaks, sending the gang member to his death.
Yep.
And leaving John suspended, hanging from a rope.
That's where Duke shines once again.
Duke, the genius miracle horse, learns, using his mind, how to operate a complex pulley system, and uses it in his mind to manipulate this industrial strength mining equipment to start the minecart again, saving John's life. The horse understands mechanical engineering to an extent I cannot believe. Duke is really shining here.
Yes.
I love that. It's insane. But Duke does it.
Yeah.
John, getting to the other side of the canyon, runs down to where the mine entrance is and signals Duke over. And he says, Duke, go get the boys and bring them back.
Yeah. He tells Duke to call a posse.
Call up a posse. And he does. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's spectacular. So now we have John rushing in to that room where Jackie and Ted and Bill are all held up. And he starts swinging. He's wailing on their guards. I mean,
haymaker after haymaker.
There's no small punches.
No.
They're absolutely wailing on each other. Until, alas, John loses and is captured and tied up.
Yeah.
Once everyone's tied up, Ryan, the gang leader, decides, you know what? I'm going to go find this gold once and for all. So he takes him and his men off to go find some gold. Now, we haven't seen Clarence in a while. We cut back to him exiting the mine, having taken off his phantom uniform. He's in this weird wooden room.
Yeah.
And Micah, he throws the dice, and what happens?
The dice shows 1 and 1. And he proceeds to...
He sees 2 ones on the dice because he wants to get out. Lady Luck, show me a way to get out. Rolls the dice.
He yells, Snake Eye! And then he trips on some piece of wood and falls through this, what do you call it, this elevator or something.
It's a mine shaft. He falls backwards, cracks the boards beneath him, and falls 100 feet down a mine shaft.
And lives.
And lives to tell the tale.
Great.
He falls through the mine shaft into the room where everyone's captured.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. He goes, within 30 seconds, Snake Eyes, falls backwards from fright. He's afraid of the dice, and just falls so far, so violently. But then he saves everyone. He unties everyone.
Yeah. Incredible.
It's wonderful. While Clarence is freeing everyone, we cut back to Duke, who has arrived at the ranch and gathered the boys. And they're now racing back.
Yeah.
Once John is untied, he rushes to get out of the mine, where he sees Ryan hauling bags of gold into this cart.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's building to this big crescendo as we see Ryan and the 3 remaining gang members ride away. 2 men on the cart Ryan on another, and 2 pursuing on horse, John following behind. John rushes up to the wagon.
He lassos a guy.
Pulls a
Yanks
guy
him.
off, throwing him onto the dirt, moving at 40 to 50 miles an hour,
Right.
ripping the skin from him. It's horribly violent. Then he jumps onto the wagon
Yeah.
and has a brutal fist fight with Mr. Ryan,
Yeah.
besting him in combat.
Yeah.
And then, oh no, just when we thought he was winning,
Yeah.
the 2 men on horse jump onto the wagon and they start fighting him. And just when he's about to lose,
Yeah.
Duke and the boys appear. And now, after that epic scene, it gets real quiet
Yeah.
as we just slowly see the boys apprehend them. And then, I can't stress this enough how weird this is. It's like really awkwardly quiet, and then instantly it cuts to John and Miss Carter sitting on a log in the forest, lightly kissing. And then Clarence falls from the sky. And what does he say, Micah?
He says, "Ah, shucks, my first raid."
And then the movie ends.
It's incredible.
And that, I promise you, listener, there is nothing in between those 2 scenes.
Beautiful.
And it brings such a warmth to my heart. It's insane. The filmmaker said, "Oh, well, they caught the villain. Time to do the end sequence."
We're getting short on budget here. We gotta end things up real
We
quick.
gotta wrap this up. We're running out of dollars fast.
Yeah. That's definitely
is
what happened.
Spectacular. We don't get any answer as to what are they gonna do with the money. Why are John and Jackie in a relationship now?
They were business partners.
They were literally just business partners. They barely interact.
Right.
They're both independent people. This is just something they added to, because John Wayne has to end up with the girl at the end. But there's no answer for some question. It's weird, but in a brilliant 30s way where I just accept it.
Yeah.
I don't know what compels me to, but I'm just fine with it.
Yeah.
It's almost enjoyable.
I mean, Clarence crashing that kiss scene, it's beautiful.
Oh,
it's
it's
a work of art.
spectacular. He is the best person ever.
I love it.
He has such a natural charm about him.
Yeah.
I feel like he couldn't hurt a fly. He's just the actor brings such a warmth and a kindness to this person. That no matter how racist the movie tries to depict and how simple, I feel like there's a certain light and charm where the actor is very clearly an intelligent man.
Right.
And I feel like that comes through more than what they're having him do and say in the script. This is more so praise for the man, for Blue Washington, than it is for the character of Clarence.
Yeah.
He is wonderful. But yes, that's how the movie ends. Micah, what'd you think about the movie? Did you enjoy the mystery? Were you scared?
I mean, it got me a little spooked, I gotta say.
It's a little spooky.
It's a little spooky. The fucking ghoulish motherfuckers. They're...
As a child, this would have terrified me.
Absolutely, yeah.
Genuinely. This works as a Halloween movie.
Yeah.
In a weird way.
Yeah.
But walk me through it. What did you like the characters?
I mean, when you have Clarence in the movie, it's great.
True.
And I certainly appreciated Duke having much more of a role in the last film than the last film.
It's so good to have him back.
Having an intelligent female character. I mean,
that does things, has action, has agency.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had a great time.
Yeah, and there's there's quite a few characters as well.
Yeah, but not too many.
Which is what Big Stampede had. That was their problem. They had character after
Yeah.
character after character.
The pacing of this movie, until the ending, is way better.
Yeah.
Every scene is allowed time to breathe. You get to know the characters. You get to know the reason for being there.
Yeah.
And it's slowly built up and then answered.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mainly because they use the entire runtime of the movie to do that.
They do.
Because there's no falling action.
Yeah.
But it works.
Yeah, it does.
And that is just... What a breath of fresh air this was.
We needed this one.
Absolutely. Yeah, the action was fun.
Yeah.
The minecart set piece is fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, what a fun idea. The mystery of it felt like there was some level of thought behind it. It felt like a real plot.
Right.
That had meaning.
Yeah.
I'm blown away.
Yeah.
I had a great time. I think we have to get down to our traditional statements where we talk about this.
Yeah.
First off, before we do our quotes, we should look at what this movie has gotten as reviewed by the critics.
That's right.
Where does it sit on Rotten Tomatoes?
I believe on Rotten Tomatoes it was a 31.
No.
Yeah, it has not been reviewed.
Look. Let's check. Let's get the precise number here.
Here we go. 1 minute.
So we can speak with some certainty.
It was 31% on Rotten Tomatoes.
31%. Yeah. Now, that surprises me quite a lot.
That was. I believe the last film, Big Stampede, was 33.
Now that
So
is a fucking travesty.
that is. I don't agree with that one bit.
Not at all. Not at all.
Absolutely not.
Like, there's less racism. There's less misogyny in this movie. There's still some racism.
There is.
Don't get me wrong. This movie is still racist.
Yeah.
Our praise for all of these John Wayne movies needs to be couched by the fact that we already know there is racism in it.
Yeah.
And we are ranking them comparatively with each other.
Yeah.
That needs to be stated.
Yeah.
So that is in the movie.
Yeah.
We are looking past that. We're trying to dig a little deeper.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, 31. I have no idea how it's 31 because the script holds up.
It does.
Like, the actual story is engaging. The characters are interesting. There's real mystery to this movie.
Yeah.
That's a hard disagree for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think this movie should be probably a 60. I mean, it's not amazing.
No.
It's amazing to us within the specific context of this operation. But otherwise, I feel like a 60 would be way more fair.
Yeah.
I feel like most
Definitely.
people will enjoy this.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You on to our quotes?
We're onto our quotes. Now,
Yeah.
usually it's John Wayne's words of the West. John Wayne really doesn't have any quips, any remarks, because so much time is spent on the other characters.
Yeah.
We thought we'd spice it up a little bit. We are using Clarence's... Are we going quotations? His quips?
I think Clarence's quip sounds. That rolls off the tongue.
Clarence's quips? Clarence's comments.
Clarence's
Because then it's alliterative.
Hey, there we go. That works.
Clarence's comments. Micah, please go first.
There's one scene where one of the many scenes when Clarence gets spooked, but this time he gets spooked specifically by a bat. It's just flying around, flies across the screen. It's just the shadow of a bat. It's just the shadow. Of
This
a
is
bat.
when he's in the mine alone.
Yeah.
He's walking and he looks and he sees the figure of a bat hanging. It's not moving at all.
Yeah.
It doesn't move at all.
And what is his response? Is the most monotone.
He goes, ah,
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 that's it. That's actually what he says.
and he runs away
Yeah,
from
it's brilliant.
an unmoving shadow of a bat.
Hmm.
Beautiful.
Compared to that blood-curdling scream at the way beginning of the movie, and his continuous just charisma throughout the film, that really threw me off. Like, just the, ah.
Ah.
It was great.
I love that.
Yeah.
That really worked for me. It was such a different tone.
Hmm.
Ah, I have one. Mine is when he walks into this wooden room. He's alone. He says, "Lady Luck, show me an exit."
Yeah.
And he rolls them bones. Snake eyes appear up. These two pips on the dice staring into his soul. And he feels it. And you can see the fear rising up from his gut up into his lungs as he gets this weird sweaty look on his face. He goes, "Snake eyes," and he recoils back, tripping over a log, falling into the ground, which splits beneath the weight of his fear and his literal physical weight as he falls through the depths of fucking hell, 100 full feet down a mine shaft, hitting board after board on his way down. That is my...
That's the ultimate Clarence comment right there.
That's my shining light.
That is.
That made the movie. That's when I said this movie is amazing.
Oh, man.
Now we've got to do our review.
This is going to be an interesting ranking, I think.
It's hard for me to put.
I know.
There's so many high points.
It's better than A Big Trail, but is it as good as Ride 'em Cowboy?
I know.
That is my dilemma.
I think this movie is not quite as good as Ride 'em Cowboy, but it is damn close.
It is. Yeah.
What ranking are you feeling? And then I'll figure out what mine is after.
All right.
I feel like collectively, we're looking at a 3.
Yeah,
out of
that's
4.
definitely what we're doing. So for our sake, I would just do 2 thumbs up.
All right, and I'll do 1.
Excellent.
Because this movie absolutely is a 3 out of 4. 3 thumbs up.
Yeah, I agree.
This is a good movie. It's got characters. It's got intrigue, mystery. It's got spooks. It's got a mind full of gold. It's got everything you could want out of a classic Western. It just doesn't quite have that John Wayne charm we were wanting.
No.
That's the missing factor.
It is.
John Wayne. This isn't really a John Wayne movie. This could be anyone's Western.
Yeah, absolutely.
He doesn't make it special.
No.
He doesn't bring out that charm. There's no charisma from him.
This is a blues Washington film right here.
Absolutely. He's more of a star than John.
He is. He even, as we said in the beginning, he starred in the original. So absolutely, it's a blues Washington film.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's what holds the movie back. Because it doesn't have that, I don't know, that airy, fantastical feeling that you get.
Right.
With, like, the mythic nature. When John Wayne comes on, he's supposed to be having these, like, quips.
Right.
You know? Besting the outlaws, kind of like a fairy tale almost. And that's missing. But otherwise, it's a fun, weird mystery movie.
Yeah.
Full of ghosts and spooks and betrayal and intrigue. I think this is a movie you should watch. This is a hidden gem.
It is.
Genuinely, this is a hidden gem. Because of that review score, I doubt people still watch this.
Yeah, no.
I'd recommend, it's a good hour.
Yeah.
It's a fun hour.
Yeah.
Watch this movie.
And the trailer.
And the trailer. God, please watch the trailer. Then decide if you watch that trailer and a spark gets ignited in your heart and soul, watch the movie. It does not let down at all.
Absolutely not.
All right, I think we've got to end it with some plugs.
Some plugs, yes. Follow the Instagram.
No Pain,
No
No
Pain,
Wayne
No
Pod.
Wayne Pod. Twitter, No Pain, No Wayne 1. Gmail, No Pain, No Wayne 1 at Gmail. Hit us
Yes.
up. Send us some mail.
We'd love to have some questions.
Got some mail. May we have a collab in the coming week or so?
Maybe there's a chance.
No promises, but there's a chance. Stay tuned.
I have been invited onto Anime Asylum
Anime Asylum.
to discuss a Western anime.
Mm,
Whether or not I will be there is a mystery.
yes.
It's a very different type of podcast, just so everyone knows.
Yeah.
But if you're interested, may potentially be appearing on an episode. No promises here. We will see how it goes.
Yep.
Other than that,
That's our next film.
we've got our next film coming up for our discussion on Wednesday. As always, we are going to have The Telegraph Trail,
Oh.
which again, that's going to be our 4th film in the John Wayne Duke hexology.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no expectations, actually.
Yeah.
I have no idea what this movie is.
Yeah.
I only know the title.
Telegraph Trail.
Yeah. The next, 4 movies, I have no idea what they are. I'm going to keep it that way.
Gonna be in for a ride.
We're absolutely going to be in for a ride. But thank you for listening. We will see you all next
week.
Wednesday.